Good morning, Mansfield. We are live from Mansfield Parks. I've got Tiffany here with me from Oliver Nature Park. We know everybody is stuck inside and bored and sick of being home, but it's not even a really nice day to go to the park anyway. So we are bringing the parks to you. We're starting with Miss Tiffany's wildlife ambassadors. So these are the guys that live here with Tiffany. You don't live here, I'll just clarify.
I mean, it's great here, but I do have a home.
Yeah, Tiffany has a home, they have a home, their home is here with us at the Parks Department, but they get to come out for different programs and things that we offer at Oliver Nature Park. But today we're bringing them out to you. So we are going to talk about spring animals. So these are animals that you might see out in the park or even in your own neighborhood in the springtime. And we're going to bring them out here, show them. Want to point out first, Tiffany and I have both washed our hands. Wash your hands, you're good. Nice and clean hands. We did not use hand sanitizer, and I will tell you why, because as Tiffany just taught me, that sanitizer can be very dangerous for some animals. So like these frogs here, is it because of their skin?
Yes, their skin absorbs anything that we have on our skin, any pollutants in the water, so that's why we don't use hand sanitizer. We wash our hands with the water before we touch them.
Good, so soap and water, but no sanitizer for the frogs because it would be very bad for them and we don't want to make them sick. So always wash your hands, but also that's a really important reason why Tiffany here is a trained professional. She knows what she's doing in handling the animals. So before you ever pick up or touch any animal, you always want to check with an adult. Make sure you're following all the precautions like sanitizer or soap, or maybe not even touching at all, especially if you see an animal out, like wildlife out just in the park in their natural environment, then you want to be really careful touching it. So you always want to check with an adult. Tiffany's an adult, good, trained professional, so we are going to get started with the animals. Okay, so Tiffany, tell us who we've got here today.
Well, we're going to start off with some spring animals, like you said. This is our toad, and this is our frog, and we're going to talk a little bit about the difference between them. So, like Miss Ann said, we wash our hands with water beforehand, so we can pick up our toad and frog, but that hand sanitizer or having any sort of lotion on our hands is sick. So this here is our Gulf Coast toad, and the toads and frogs, they don't like to sit still. One really neat thing about them is you can tell the difference because this toad, you can see he's got bumpy skin, and that is one way we can tell he's a toad. He also doesn't have webbed feet. You can see his little tiny toes. He doesn't have any webbed feet, so he's not a frog. And some really cool information about him when he eats. He loves to eat crickets and grasshoppers and flies, and he's got a really sticky tongue. And when he sticks his sticky tongue out, he grabs his fly or cricket or grasshopper and pulls it into his mouth with his tongue. And then to swallow, he closes his eyes, and that helps the food go down into his throat, into his tummy, to get that nutrition.
So he has to close his eyes to swallow?
Yeah, he closes his eyes to swallow.
That's very interesting. I don't think I close my eyes when I swallow. I think I can eat with my eyes open.
I think all our friends should try that when we eat lunch today.
So when you eat lunch today, see if you can keep your eyes open while you swallow. If you can't, and you have to close your eyes when you swallow, you might be a toad. So you might want to check with your mom about that.
Yeah, I might have some toads living in the house. Most of these toads are going to be found out back in the yard or at the park. And toads and frogs really like to have a moist environment. So if you have a sprinkler system or a pool, or if you go to the park near the pond, you're going to see these animals. And we know that this toad...
Huh? I was saying I was backing up so you can see the toad better without my face.
Without Miss Ann. And this, you can see he's got these brown spots and bumps on him. There's all different species of toads here in Texas, but this is one you're going to have right in your backyard, the Gulf Coast toad.
So, Tiffany, he kind of looks like the horned frog for TCU. Yeah. Is that a horned toad?
You know what? That horned frog TCU has is actually a horned lizard. He's not a frog at all.
Well, why did they say go frogs if they're lizards?
I guess they got confused, Miss Ann.
Oh, man. Somebody like TCU know they've got it all wrong.
But you're right. He does look bumpy like that, like that mascot that they have.
Yeah, very good.
All right.
And he's the one that sticks his tongue out to catch the flies and stuff, like in the cartoons. Because you always see that in the cartoons. So that's always a toad then when they do that?
Well, you know what? Frogs do too.
Oh, man. Okay.
Oh, now you're all
close.
confused.
So close. I love this guy. He's so happy. He's so happy. See, as soon as we get him back in the cage, he's happy.
He is ready to go. So our next friend is going to be the frog. And a frog frogs are really hoppy.
Tiffany's got to hold on really tight to this guy.
Not tight enough to hurt him, but high enough that he's not going to hurt himself by jumping. So he is a leopard frog. He's the most common type of frog you're going to find in your pool or near your lawn with the sprinklers or the pond. But he's got to stay in a moist environment. He needs to be near that. And he's like, I'm not gonna wake up near that water source, because he does have webbed feet. He's got spots, and his skin is really slippery because he's got water all over him. He just came out of his critter box that had water. Let's see if he'll let us see his feet. Whoops, there we go. We can see his little tiny toes. He's got webbed feet.
If you touch the screen right on the toes, it'll sort of focus it a little bit better on where it is.
Ooh. All right, so that's his webbed feet there. And he's able to swim, and he has that long tongue also that helps him be able to catch those flies or crickets or grasshoppers. And you can see he's got a little more rounded snout. Oh, there's his front toes. He doesn't have real webbed feet in the front, but he does spend a lot of time in that water swimming. And at nighttime right now, if you were to go out into the forest or even your backyard, you can hear toads and frogs. They're coming out this time of year for spring, and you'll hear them all calling. They all make different calls. And there's some really fun apps you can download that have frog calls on them. Oh. So you can just Google frog apps and you can find some different calls to...
Okay. When we finish the video, we'll put the links to those apps in the comments. So if you want to download an app so you can identify frog calls or call some frogs to your house, then you can totally get one after we're done with the video here. So you said that these are sometimes found in people's pools, like if you go in your pool.
Yeah.
If you see one in your pool, should you scoop it out?
Definitely. That chlorine water is not good for them. That will also hurt them. It's just like it. So we should definitely scoop them out of our pool and put them back in the yard.
Okay. Very good. Very good.
And you can see he's got that slippery, smooth skin. He doesn't have any bumps. That's how we know he's a frog. Or one of the ways we know he's a frog.
Very good. And so it's pointy face, smoother skin. Is that yeah, very good. Okay, he has a lot more water in his texture.
He does. All right, so our next friends we're gonna find in our yard right now, especially because we had all that rain this weekend. Did you have rain in your house, Miss Ann?
Crazy rain, especially last night. The dogs did not sleep.
So right now that we have all this rain here in spring, we've got these really cute snails are coming out. These are ones that
I think the camera's a little bit more over here.
That's what they're gonna drink. And they will use their tongue to grade their food. And they will, it's kind of like a cheese grater, shreds it. And their bodies are almost see-through, so you can kind of see as they shred their food. These ones are great for friends to actually, as long as you don't have sanitizer or soap on your hands, these ones you can actually go outside and pick up. We don't have any crazy snails that are gonna like attack you or anything like that.
So if you go outside right now and you see some snails on your sidewalk at your house, it's okay to pick them up?
Yep, you can go outside and pick them up. And, that helps them because if, your neighbors are walking down the sidewalk and they don't see the snail, they're going to squish them.
So pick them up and put them in the grass or in a flower bed, does it matter?
Exactly. Put them in the grass, put in the flower bed, out of harm's way. But, they're also really cool just to hold and let all that slime. They have a slime on their foot, which is the bottom of their body. And that slime, if you hold them or you watch your sidewalk, I like to watch the sidewalk and look for the slime trails. And then I know snails are nearby. That slime will leave a kind of a gooey substance on your hand. Washes off with soap and water, of course.
So we want the gooey substance?
Well,
do we
you probably want to eat your snacks after it, but I think it's kind of fun.
So if you want to pick one up, you pick it up probably by the shell very gently?
Yep.
How strong are those shells?
Your fingers could crush them if you push too hard, but our feet are really strong, right? Because our feet are so heavy, our feet would crush them. But if you're real gentle, you can pick them up by their shell and put them on your hand. Your hand's going to warm them up, and that's what's going to make them come out of their shell and start exploring, is that warmth on your hand, because they're cold-blooded. They don't have any, they're really cold to the touch until you warm them up. And you can see this guy, he's like crawling all over.
So
he's got a hold of his buddy.
Do they
he's
switch
climbing.
to bigger shells as they get bigger?
Ooh, great question. So snails are hatched out of their eggs and they have that shell their whole entire life. It grows with them just like our bones grow with us. So he doesn't get new shells like a hermit crab, is what you were thinking, is a hermit crab.
I don't know what I was thinking. I think I've just heard that before. So, so snails stay in their little shell the whole time. Like our bones get big.
Yep.
So My head got bigger since I was a baby. So a snail's shell gets bigger as it gets bigger.
And so another animal I found actually right outside our office building on the sidewalk on my way in, he doesn't have a shell. He is called a slug. No shell, never will, never had.
It looks like a booger.
It kind of looks like a movie booger was saying. But I thought maybe he looked like a snail without a shell, like he lost his shell.
Yeah.
But nope, slugs do not have a shell on their body. They have just this really slimy, gooey body.
Yeah.
So they're even more gooey than a snail. Well, they're both pretty gooey, but.
Are those the same that like people eat sometimes? I know, like escargot, isn't that like a French snail?
I think that's a snail.
Oh, it's a snail.
Not a slug. I think it's a snail.
Either way, not interested.
We do not want to eat
Not
these.
interested.
These are our friends.
Especially if we find one in your backyard, don't eat it.
Yeah, don't eat something that looks like a booger. And you can see in here they have a carrot. They like to eat vegetables. They like to eat fruits. They like to eat our plants outside. Obviously, if they're in our yard when we find them. So they like to eat that vegetation, dead leaves. They'll help decompose that natural material that's decaying outside, especially this time of year with all that rain. These animals are coming out of the ground because their home's getting flooded. And then the water will settle down and they'll go back underground.
So that's why we see them after it rains, because they're underground and then it's too wet?
Exactly. And then they also come out to drink that dew droplets or that rain droplets. He decided he wanted to come on the outside.
I did not know they ate fruits and vegetables. I thought it was just like leaves and stuff.
Yeah, if you have like a compost pile in the backyard, you might have some of these guys. You definitely will have some of these guys in the compost pile eating up your dead or decaying material.
Or so if you had like if you helped your mom make a salad and you had like the little ends of the salad and stuff, could you put that out like in the flower bed for them to eat?
You could, for sure.
We could try that then. So if you guys make a salad with dinner tonight, or just want a carrot for snack and you have a little bit left over, stick it in your flower bed, and then tomorrow check and see if you've got any snails or slugs having their own special feasts thanks to you. But don't eat the snails and the slugs.
Definitely not. Not on the menu
Snails
today.
and the slugs. These frog friends, I don't know if you guys can hear them. They are so hyper, especially this toad here. He is like hopping like crazy in here. Here, hold this. He is going nuts in the cage. Oh, there he goes. There's a reason he's in the cage again, because he did not like it. So is this the cage that he stays in normally?
No, so they have big habitats out in our animal room, and they have lots of space, and he's like, where is my palace? This is way too small. But he also doesn't understand that he can't get through this clear plastic. He just sees that there's something on the other side.
He's trying to get us, yeah.
He's trying to go with school.
He's a very active little guy. Okay, all right, so we've got, do we know if he's a boy? How do we know? I don't know.
The females are normally larger than the males, but
yeah, they are. Girl power, right?
because they have to have all those eggs inside them with their babies.
Oh, for the eggs, that makes sense too, yeah. Okay, Tiffany's got another little friend here. Who do we got?
All right, this is our red-eared slider.
Nice.
And he is an aquatic turtle, one you'd find in the pond. It looks like he's gonna like eat Miss Anne.
Does he have a name?
His name is Squirtle.
Squirtle.
And
Isn't
we
that a
know
Pokemon?
it is a Pokemon.
Okay.
Yes. A lot of our volunteer high school friends helped us name these animals when we first got them. So
Nice.
they have a lot of fun names.
You could get worse names.
What?
They could be worse.
Oh, it could be definitely. This here is, like I said, aquatic turtle. So just like the frogs, see, he's got webbed feet. You can kind of see him underneath there.
Nice.
He's got webbed feet, and that helps him to swim. And he has these really sharp claws that help him to dig. He'll be found in the pond most of the time, but he doesn't need to stay in the water because he breathes air with lungs like you and I do.
Oh.
So he is found right now out of the water. He'd be on the logs getting warm in the sun because that's how he gets nice and toasty when it's cooler out, but also during hot days. And then he'll go into the shade and cool off when he's ready to cool off. He swims really fast. Look how thin his shell is. It's very aerodynamic for water. He'll swim and he'll catch his fish. He'll eat worms, roly-polies, any sort of small meat. And then he also likes to eat.
He's swimming in the air now.
I know, he's swimming. He's like, oh, wait, there's more over there. But he can also crawl on the ground. Right now, in a few more weeks, we're going to be seeing them cross the roads and travel across our bike paths. And that's because their females are going to go lay their eggs. And they can travel for quite a while, like a mile or more.
Wow.
And they'll go find a spot to lay their eggs, and then they leave them and go back to their pond.
So why do they lay the eggs somewhere else? Why don't they lay the eggs at the pond where they live?
You know, great question, Missy, and I haven't asked them. They just travel far away. They travel into the forest to be able to bury their eggs. If they put it right at the edge of the pond where all the people are fishing, and they'll go next to a bench sometimes. We have a few in the park. They lay the eggs next to the bench. So they try to just hide them. And so
that makes sense. They want to hide them from predators and things like that. They think they're safer.
Exactly.
So if you're driving and you see a turtle in the road, you shouldn't pick it up and take it home because it's probably going to check on its babies?
It's probably going to lay its eggs. It doesn't take care of its babies. It lays those eggs in the ground and then leaves them, and the babies know how to survive. It just ditches them, yeah.
Wow, good mom, turtle.
Unlike your mom and my mom, they don't take care of their babies for any length of time. And if we see them, though, we should help them across the road if it's safe. Of course, an adult only.
Yes.
If it's not safe, then you need to keep safe for our turtle friends. But if you can help our turtle friends, they really appreciate it. And you just move them whichever way their head is going. So if their head is crossing the road in one direction, don't put them on the other side of the road. They're going to go back across the road and it won't be safe again.
That makes sense. They have a good sense of direction.
They do. They have an internal GPS system. They do not need the iPhone maps.
Nice. I know one time we were driving and saw a turtle in the middle of the road, and so we pulled over and I told my girl, stay in the car, and I got out, and it was a really big one, so I picked it up very carefully, and right as I got it to the other edge, it peed all over my hands.
Oh yeah, that's
I was like, oh, thanks, turtle, you're welcome.
He thought you were a predator, and if he's gonna peel over you, might let him go. And well, look, you did.
I definitely
It worked really well.
Yes, very good, very good. Look at that. So you said they have lungs like we do.
Yes.
So if they swim in the water, do they have to hold their breath?
They do. They can hold their breath for quite some time, a few hours even in the wintertime when they go underground and stay underneath the water to stay warmer and let their body it doesn't function quite the same. And they can hold their breath for quite a long time. Yeah.
I cannot hold their breath for hours.
I think a turtle would definitely beat you in an underwater contest of who can hold their breath the longest.
Breath holding, egg laying. I'm pretty sure a turtle will beat me on anything. Maybe even running. That guy looks like he's pretty fast.
He is fast when he wants to be on land. Turtles, our books teach us they're really slow, but turtles are actually pretty quick when they want to be, especially if they find food. Our friends here, when they find food across the way of the playpen, when we have field trips and school groups, they go real fast.
So what are their favorite foods?
Well, Squirtle eats things like strawberries and carrots and lettuce. Then he also gets worms and crickets. And then, of course, turtle pellets like we buy at the pet store, just like you would if you had a pet turtle. But taking these out of the wild to have a pet is not the way to go. We don't want to take animals out of the wild. Like Stan said, we don't go and pick up animals in the forest. An animal in the forest is going to probably bite us because it thinks we're a predator. They have really sharp beaks. Or what?
Or pee on you.
Or they're definitely going to pee on you. Most animals are going to pee on you.
Cool.
Make you let them go. But pet stores and places that animals that need new homes and stuff like that is a place to find an animal more than definitely not going out to the forest.
Very good. So if you want a turtle, get one from a pet store. Don't get it from the park.
Don't go to our park to pick them up.
Plus, you might be like taking it from its family.
Well, they don't have families quite like that. They do spend time with other turtles on the logs. You'll see them, but
they have friends.
Yeah,
they don't want to leave their friends at the park. Yeah, but if you are at the park and you see some turtles, like I know at Oliver, we get a ton of turtles like sitting on the logs and stuff, sunning themselves. Do we bring food to feed them?
Definitely not. So they have lots of food in the pond, and that's any wild animal. They have food out in the forest. They know how to find their own food. They're not looking for a free snack because a lot of times what we have is not healthy for them. Like a lot of times people will give bread to ducks. And
no bread for ducks?
No breads for ducks. Bread is not good for ducks. Lettuce, great thing for ducks. If you have to feed an animal at the park, that would be the thing to do. But otherwise they have algae and they have fish and all sorts of good stuff. That human-made food actually in the pond actually disrupts the ecosystem. So it's not good for our pond. So definitely take your camera, your binoculars, go and sit next to the pond and enjoy them, but they really do not need your help.
So we don't touch them, we don't feed them, we don't take them home, we just enjoy them from a distance, right? Just like our friends at school, right? You go to school and you see your friend, you don't throw food at them, right? You don't make them come live with you, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
That makes total sense.
Yeah. Very much the same.
They're just our friends at the park. So we go visit them, we say, hey, what's up? And then we go back to our house and let them stay at their house where they're happiest, right? Oh, he looks real happy now. Do we have any more friends to see? Squirtle, did you bring a friend?
We do. So that was our aquatic turtle living in the pond, and now we have a turtle that would live in the forest on the forest floor.
A forest turtle. Did you know there's different turtles between pond turtles and forest turtles? I did not. So Squirtle was a pond turtle.
Yep.
So remember, he was real aerodynamic. He lived in the water. So who do we have here? This one is?
This is Shelley, and she's a three-toed box turtle. So she is an animal that would live on land.
I keep getting my face right there. Here we go.
And she is one that we find on the forest floor. We do have turtles all over. We have a lot of the aquatic turtles. Those are the ones we normally see in the pond sunbathing in the summer. But we actually have box turtles too. They're just harder to find because they spend time in the forest floor where there's lots of leaf litter and there's logs they blend in with. So it's harder to find a box turtle, but we do see them with our school groups and our summer camps. We see them with the kids all the time.
So a box turtle, is that because her shell is bigger and more like a box and not so sleek and aerodynamic?
So her shell is definitely more dome-shaped like a rock, so she could blend in with the forest if she were to pull her arms and head and legs inside and her tail. She would look like a rock, right? Well, yes. She's a box turtle because she can actually close her shell up. So this part here goes up to this part, and back here, when she pulls her legs and tail in, this part goes up to this part. She has like a hinge, like a door hinge. When we close our doors, keep her brother and sister out. This door hinge right here closes up, but she has to go inside first. And as you can see, Shelley doesn't have any interest in going inside.
Yeah, she's freaking out. She wants to be on Facebook.
She's like, I want to go.
Facebook, Shelley. So she's also more brown, and the Squirtle was more green. So I'm guessing that's because the pond water versus the leaves and rocks and dirt and stuff.
Yeah. So she would live in the dirt and rocks. Has to camouflage, just like Squirtle does out in the pond. Has to camouflage with the algae. So yeah, they're different, just different colors for their camouflaging purposes. So they don't get eaten by those predators. Because even though they're kind of small, animals do enjoy snacking on them. They're not the top of the food chain by any means, but they're not the bottom either. She eats roly-polies and earthworms and slugs and snails and crickets, grasshoppers.
Did you hear that, guys? All of our little slugs and snails are hiding back in their shells because they saw Shelley and they're like, nope, no thank you. It's okay, we got you.
We got it covered. You're not going to be snacks today. And Shelley, just like Squirtle, has a beak. So she doesn't have teeth like you or I do. She has a beak. She's just waving. She's saying hi to everyone. And she doesn't have any webbed feet. She's got these awesome claws to dig in the soil to keep herself safe and hiding down in the forest or finding her grubs. And she's a three-toed box turtle. She has 3 toes on her back feet. And she has no webbed feet, so she's not going to be swimming in the pond. She does go in puddles. All reptiles need to stay moist and get kind of like a bath, mini bath. And but she's not going to be found swimming.
You should not throw her back in the pond.
Definitely not. So she's also going to be crossing the road to go find her spot to lay her eggs in the springtime. But most of the time we see those aquatic turtles. I mean, when I'm traveling, most of the time I see aquatic turtles, but she could too. And we definitely don't want to go put her in the pond. Really, any turtle. If we were to move it out of harm's way, we would not want to go put it inside a water body because you never know. It might not be an aquatic turtle. And then that's
so you can put it next to a pond. Any turtle would be safe next to a pond, but not in a pond.
Right.
Not in your house.
Not in your house. Only if we found it near a pond. If we found it on the road, not near a pond, we're not going to take it in our car and go drive it to the park to put in the pond. But if it's in your swimming pool, you might want to take it out. He might appreciate it.
So her claws are kind of sharp. Does she have teeth too?
So she's got a beak, and she tears her food apart with her beak. She doesn't have teeth like you, right? More like a bird, yes.
Okay. Oh, and a long neck. She's a nice long neck. You would be a good ballerina, Shelley.
You know why she has that long neck?
I do not.
Her lungs are located at the top of her shell, and she's got to climb over rocks and logs in the forest, and sometimes she flips upside down and lands on her back. Oh. So she has that long neck to turn over really quick, because if she stays too long on her back, on her lungs, what might happen? She might pass away because she would suffocate and not be able to breathe. So she's got that long neck helps her turn over really quickly when she goes upside down.
Yeah, throws herself like
Yep, exactly.
So you guys can try that after you finish watching the video. Lay down on your back, and you can't use your arms and legs, and just try and use your neck and see if you can use it to throw yourself over. Like a baby, when babies are first learning to roll over, and they kind of like go like this. And then if you've ever seen a baby, I know I look really ridiculous right now, but if you've ever seen a baby trying to learn how to roll over, that's what they do. They go like this until they can figure out how to get it. But they use their heads and their necks a lot to throw them. And it probably won't work as well for you or me because our necks are not as long compared to the rest of our body. But Shelley, when she extends her neck out, is really long compared to her little bitty body like that, right?
Yes. And we talked about snails having their shells. So just like a snail, a turtle has a shell. It's its home. It cannot leave its shell. And the turtle is the same as the snail. It hatches out of its egg and it has that shell and it grows with them like our bones grow with us.
Nice. So those are
So they don't.
So like you have ribs, you feel like right here, you can feel your ribs on your body and those grow as you get bigger.
She's got ribs inside her shell.
Oh, she has ribs inside the shell?
It's attached to her shell along with her spine. You guys have a spine on your back?
Oh, I have a spine.
Yep. Miss Ann has a spine on her back.
Yep.
And this you can kind of see right there. That's her spine.
Nice.
It's fused to her shell. So it's another reason she can't leave her shell because all her bones are fused to
and also why you want to be very careful not to step on it or squish it, because if you squish that, that'd be like breaking all the bones in your body and that would not be good for anybody.
Their shells are pretty hard, but I do not think they'd be able to withstand our force.
Yeah, so what kind of predators would go after turtles?
So only animal we have here in North Texas that can crush this turtle shell to eat it for a snack is an alligator. But we don't have any of those in our park.
Definitely not at Oliver, there's no alligators.
No, but there are the Trinity River and other locations here in North Texas.
Not Mansfield.
Not that we know of at the moment. But this alligator can crush the shell and eat the turtle friend. But animals like hawks are going to take him and toss him and, try to break him open to have his clam, for dinner. Okay. Or his turtle, but, yeah.
She's running away. So is Shelley fast also?
She is. She's really quick. Especially when she sees a worm on the other end of the room. Oh, she goes.
Oh, she heard that. She heard worm.
She's like, oh, is it lunchtime? I bet you guys are all having some worms for lunch too.
Worms for lunch. Yummy. Yay. Very good. Okay, I think we're down to our last animal now. Say goodbye, Shelley. Anybody know where Shelley got her name? Not a Pokemon. I think you can probably figure it out. Okay, so Miss Tiffany's gonna go over there. I'm gonna grab the camera and we're gonna follow her. We've got one more animal to see here. There we go. Very good. So, looky here. Who is this?
This is she's a bunny rabbit. And in the forest, we have the cottontail rabbit. But they look a little different. They are a different color. They're brown in color. Thumper here is gray because she's just a pet bunny. And she's like, oh, hi guys.
Oh, Thumper's ready to make her debut. Hello, Thumper.
Now she's got those big long ears that help her be able to hear animals in the forest because unlike some of our other friends, she's the bottom of the food chain.
Oh no, there's the bottom. There's the bottom of the food chain. There we go.
Oh, look at that cute tail. That helps distract predators. That's why she has that cottontail.
How does the cottontail distract predators?
It's white in color, and it'll flop up and down, and it'll distract the predators. Now, she's got those big eyes, and they're on the side of her head, because she's an animal that's considered a prey animal, someone who would be eaten by lots of other animals like hawks and coyotes and bobcats and owls. But having the eyes on the side tells us she's a prey, and she likes to hide. She's not going to hunt. She's not going to be out there hunting for any of those worms or roly-poly. She likes to snack on leaves and carrots. Well, she eats carrots. But out in the forest, she's going to find leaves and grass. And if you had a garden, she'd love to dig in your garden.
Oh, man.
And eat all those vegetables you're growing, and fruits, strawberries, apples, bananas. They're one of her favorites.
So with her eyes on the sides of her head, how does that help her being a prey?
Well, that doesn't necessarily help her. She can't see in front of her nose, so she's not going to hunt. But she's going to hide inside her burrow, a home that she makes in the ground with those sharp nails. Or she'll go inside a tree stump that has a hole in the bottom of it to stay safe from those predators. She just likes it.
Yeah, she's active. She's very good.
She is. And she's got those whiskers in the front of her face.
Ooh, let's get a close-up of your whiskers
just like
here.
all bunnies. And those help her to be able
Close up! Close up, Thumper!
Those help her to be able to not get in a hole that's too small. If she can get her whiskers.
So she can feel on her whiskers?
Yeah, just like our cats and dogs, they can feel with their whiskers. And they feel where they're going. So if they're going in a hole, if she can't get her whiskers in, she's not going to be able to get her tail in. And if you're in the bottom of the food chain, eaten by lots and lots of predators, you're going to...
Oh, I'm putting her to sleep. Oh, no.
She's like, ooh, that's her.
Okay, so that makes sense. So she can feel if it's the edges of the whiskers, then it's too small of a hole for her belly. Thumper, I feel like your tail end here is a little bit wider than your whiskers. No offense, sweetheart. You're beautiful. but maybe lay off the carrots a little bit here. So, is there a reason why bunnies' little noses do that?
They're always smelling. They always move like that. And then she also, her ears, we talked about she listens for her predators, and when it's really hot outside, they're kind of like elephants. They can control how much blood goes through their ears, in the veins of their ears. And if it's really hot out, they'll pump more blood through to circulate it faster so it cools off. And if it's really cold out, she actually can slow that blood in there. She can restrict how much blood goes in her ear veins, and that'll keep her body warmer.
So it's sort of like how we sweat, or is it like how a dog pants?
Yeah, kind of like both. She does not pant and she doesn't sweat either. But so they have to use their ears to regulate their body temperature when it gets hot or cold.
Very nice.
She has sharp claws because she has to dig home in the ground.
Do you have sharp claws? Can you hold her little paw up? Let me see. She probably won't show us because she's happy. She's happy right now.
She's like, I don't know. Oh, can you see
There
so they're
we
hidden
go.
underneath the fur, just like our dogs or cats.
Oh yeah, she looks like a little kitty cat.
Yep. So they're hidden underneath that fur, but they're really, really soft. Or,
Can you hold her up to, do their paw bottoms look like cats?
Oh, they do not.
Oh.
So a lot of people talk about lucky rabbit feet, right?
Yeah.
We don't talk about that here.
Yes.
But you can see she has no pads like a
Oh.
cat or dog would.
Okay, so
They're
she has
just
little
really soft.
little fingers like a cat does, but they don't have a little pad on them.
They don't have pads and they don't retract like cats. They retract their claws. Obviously, just like she's more like a dog, does not retract her claws. She has no way to do that.
So they're always out.
They're always out, and so they'll go digging in the forest to find grasses or leaves. They'll dig their home with them.
So if we were out at Oliver, could we find a rabbit? Would there be rabbits like Thumper that live at Oliver?
Yes, they'd be brown in color because remember Thumper's a pet rabbit. She's not a wild rabbit, but they would be brown. But they would have that white cotton tail, and they would be located in the prairie or in the forest, and they would have they'd be brown in color. In the springtime, we have lots of baby bunnies that are coming out. Our mommies are having babies, and they're actually they'll lay them in the grass, and they might be in your yard or in the park, and not actually in that burrow. So sometimes they were laid in the grass, and mommy bunnies would actually not stay with their babies during the day. So if you see baby bunnies at the park or in your yard, and you're like, oh no, mom's not there, mommy bunny actually will come back in the nighttime when it's dark, so predators can't see her as easily. And if she were to like sit on her bunnies like a chicken sits on their eggs, she would actually be more of a animal that the predators could see, and they would eat them. So being away from her babies during the day, she's more likely to have her babies live longer.
So if we see a little nest of baby bunnies, we should not pick them up.
No, definitely not. And we also throw it in our backyard when our dog doesn't get out to get them, or our cats. And if you see bunnies and you're worried that mommy's not there, the coolest thing to do is take flour and make a circle around the baby bunnies, but not real close to them, farther away. And at nighttime, the next morning, you'll see mommy's hopped into the flour and kind of moved it, and the babies have seen their mom's fed them, and then the mommy hops back out after the sun rises so that she doesn't get seen by that predator.
So if a couple days go by and you don't see any hopping prints in the flour, then maybe you can call animal control?
Yeah, animal control or a rehabber. An wildlife rehabber, animal control can get you in contact with those, though.
Okay, but probably don't pick them up yourself.
No, always find a professional to talk to before you make that decision to put them into a box or take them somewhere, just in case they're actually old enough to be on their own.
Right.
Because once mommy is no longer feeding them, the mommy buddy will leave them and they'll go off on their own by themselves.
Very good. Thumper gets really compressed when she is down. Like she almost doesn't even look like a bunny anymore. She just looks like a little pile of fluff.
Or a loaf of bread.
Yes, a loaf of bread. Are you a loaf of bread there, Thumper? So if, on that same note, if you were to see a bunny in Oliver Nature Park, it's so cute and so fuzzy. Should you pick it up and take it home?
Definitely not. Rabbits have really large teeth.
Oh.
And they're about this long. They got two on the top and two on the bottom. And they're very, very sharp. So they can do some damage. So you definitely want to pick up any animals in the forest. Bunnies, raccoons, opossums. You know, the ones that are cute and fluffy, they look like they would be snuggly, but they actually are wild animals. We do not want those in our homes or interacting with them in the park. Because we don't want them to get used to people. That would be not good for them, because then they'd be going up to people looking for food. Definitely
Right.
do not want to interact with the wildlife. Take your camera, take your binoculars, just sit and watch them, but definitely do not interact with them.
But if you really love rabbits, you could get one at a pet store.
Pet store or someone who can't keep any longer, rehome a rabbit. Just like cats and dogs. They actually end up in our shelter.
That's a good, and you know what? Actually, that's a good point. A lot of Miss Tiffany's animals you've gotten from where?
Almost all of them have been rehomes from people who could no longer keep them.
So you can check a place like.
We're not taking any more animals. We are.
We are totally full, but you could check a place like Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace, see if somebody who maybe got a pet and doesn't want it anymore is looking for a new home for it.
Because a lot of shelters taking animals like rabbits, guinea pigs, dogs and cats, obviously ferrets. Our Mansfield Animal Control has lots of interesting critters that come in throughout the year.
And it doesn't really matter, like especially a turtle, like a baby. You know, a lot of times people want a puppy; they don't want to get an older dog. But a turtle is really basically the same, whether it's a baby or older. So you could give a home to an adult turtle instead of going to the pet store and buying a new one.
Exactly, like and a turtle, for instance, lives a very long time. Reptiles, they live quite a while. Like snakes can live like 15, 20 years. Turtles can live, some even to be like 50 years old. Birds, they live forever. So you have to be really wanting to have research done before you go out and pick up these animals because they're going to be living for a long time. And putting them in the forest is not an option when you get tired of them. Finding them a new home, of course, is always better. But you got to be thinking about if you want to keep them for the rest of their life.
Very good. And one final fun fact that you can do if you have a rabbit for a pet, there's something special about Thumper. What is Thumper's special skill? Tiffany, do you know what I'm talking about? No. Thumper uses a litter box.
Oh.
She's potty trained like a cat.
She is she?
Thumper, you are so smart. You are potty trained.
Yes, rabbits, ferrets, guinea pigs, a lot of them can become potty trained. It just takes time.
Yes.
You have to be willing to work with them. And since there's like 2 weeks off school, you can be working on that now if you already have an animal and need some training, whether it's a dog, a cat, a rabbit. You could be doing cool things. And something we like to do for all of our critters is make toys for them. Toilet paper tubes work really well as a safe toy because it doesn't have any tape on it or staples. And you can hide their food in it and make them have to look for it. So that can be good for dogs, cats, rabbits, ferrets, guinea pigs, all sorts of good animals. Even our turtle.
Very good. I bet we could even find a link and put in the comments a link to if you want to make some animals or make some toys for your rabbits, things you can do at home with that. All right. Well, thank you so much, Miss Tiffany. Thank you, Thumper. You did such a good job. Okay, and thank you guys all for joining us. We're going to come back by and say goodbye to the frogs. Be sure and join us again tomorrow morning at 10. We're going to be back here again, and we are going to do some science experiments. We're going to do some chemistry projects. We're going to post the link to the materials you need. It's all, oh, look at this guy. That's our frog. He is alive. He's just taking a little nap there. He has had a very stressful day. There's our toad. Our toad is so active, I tell you what. So like I said, we're going to post the link to the materials you need. It's pretty much just water bottles, baking soda, stuff you're going to have around the house anyway. Do not go to the store just to get it. If you can also just watch us do the experiment and then do it later if you don't have all the supplies. But we are going to do that again tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Let's say goodbye to the little snails. These guys are crazy. Look at them crawling like that. Okay, look at that. Everybody's ready to say goodbye. Where did the turtles go? Oh, the turtles are taking a little nap too. This has been a really stressful day for everybody. I don't know if anybody else has been stressed out, but oh, there we go. Goodbye, Shelley. Shelley, can you wave goodbye? Say bye. Oh, there, Shelley's waving bye. Bye, everybody.
During our 2-week break.
There you go. Okay, so we're gonna train the turtles. You guys can do some more research. You can let us know if there's something else you want to see or something you want to learn about. And then check back with us tomorrow for chemistry. We're going to have a different program every day. We've got some arts, we've got some dance, we've got some fitness workouts, a little bit of everything, all the fun stuff that we would be normally doing in our parks, either the regular parks, the MAC, or Oliver Nature Park. And we hope you guys can have fun with us and join us again next time. Thanks, bye.